100%. Doobie doobie doo. Good morning to everybody in the chat. I can't, we have the best production quality here. I might need to restart this computer that's been turned on for the last 3 years because I can't see myself on the webcam again. Dead Man says 5x5. It must be good. So does Tim Hansen. It's all good. Hansen. Remember that Umbop band? Tim, are you part of that band?
Don't even try to read the brief today.
Anyway, it's the 20th December of 2023, and we're going to do the brief. Let me be honest. We are going to attempt to do the brief. There is a spirit of silliness in the air this morning, and well, you get what you pay for, and the brief is free. So, Israel is hot on the warpath, vowing that their efforts will not cease until the rest of the 129 hostages are free and Hamas is eradicated, according to their official statements. The conflict has officially spread further than the horrors of the Gaza Strip, though, with the Iran-backed Houthis attacking vessels in the Red Sea. You remember about a month ago or so, I was like, you guys should learn about the Houthis and their Yemeni rebels, terrorist group. Yeah. Anyway, they've had it. The Houthis have had enough. Now, in response to the spreading conflict, a multinational naval operation has been formed to protect the key flow of commercial goods, patrolling the southern Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. During the announcement of this operation, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said, quote, "This is an international challenge that demands collective action," end quote. Why do we got to use words like collective action? No. Again, remember, see previous brief, Secretary of War. Better statement would be, the Yemeni Houthi rebels are assholes. They're pieces of shit. They're attacking our people. They're affecting our commerce. And we are going to smash them back into the Stone Age. At the very time of this writing, an aircraft carrier has launched 4 F-22s that are hitting key strategic targets in Yemen, which will be followed by a small ground force invasion, probably the Rangers, right? And they're going to go in there. They're going to jack up everybody that's holding an AK-47 or an RPG or is inserting the key into the ignition of a pickup truck. Anybody that even remotely looks like a terrorist piece of shit will be targeted and destroyed. This is your warning. You have 1 hour to grab your go bag and GTFO of Yemen because we're coming. If it was me, that's what I would say if I was Secretary of War. And then you know what we would do? We would continue on with America's large phallus energy, and we just drive our little boats wherever the hell we felt like it. And at Peter Zeihan, that guy had a really interesting piece of content that he did the other day. He's talking about the end of American hegemony and what that looks like around the world, which is a topic I'm super interested in. And he made the comment that the reason the United States has been so involved in the Middle East over the last several decades has not been because the United States requires the oil that comes out of there. It's more like our security partners around the world require the oil that comes out of there. And now, if the United States basically steps off the world stage and no longer patrols the 7 seas with our Navy and no longer projects force, what does that look like in the Middle East? And he had a really interesting take on this, basically saying that at some point, Japan will become the regional power in that area. Yeah, interesting. Japan, that was his, because he was looking at who has the capability to project force in the region. And he's like, Turkey is not nothing. Turkey's military exceeds all the other militaries in the area combined. But Turkey doesn't have the ability to really project force, especially against key players like Russia, China, etc. So, interesting piece of content worth checking out. Some shippers, like those people who put things on boats and ship them. By the way, I have it on good authority that a Caterpillar 279 skid steer will move a 40-foot shipping container. Don't ask me how I know. I just happen to know this thing. Some shippers have already reorganized their routes to go around Africa instead of entering into the dangerous sea, which is cool because Africa, it's tiny. It's just a slight detour. So it's only 7,000 miles. Yeah.
Any excuse to raise the shipping rates.
The analyst says any excuse to raise the shipping rates. Yeah, it's fine. It's just an extra 7,000 miles. The oil and gas giant BP, British Petroleum, has issued a pause on all of its Red Sea shipments. Oil tanker group Frontline has said that its ships would be avoiding passage through that area. Maersk, where are they? They're Scandinavian, right? Maersk? Yeah. Maersk, one of the companies that is sending ships around Africa, issued a statement praising the formation of the Patrol Coalition, saying, quote, with the line of impacted vessels building fast in the area, progressing with speed will be key for the coalition in order to minimize direct negative impact on global trade, end quote. Economic analysts cannot say yet how this might impact global trade, but there is a concern that if the disruption worsens, it could have such a cascading impact that it could potentially start a new round of worldwide inflation. That sounds gay. That's the last thing we need is more inflation. If I'm being perfectly honest. Thumbs down on that. Also, it kind of reminds me of there was this period roughly 1914-ish, and then there was this other period of time, roughly late 1930s to mid 1940s, where inexplicably the world was in global upheaval and men with guns were shooting at each other. And if my memory serves, which I'm not a betting man, but if my memory serves, global shipping at that time was also being escorted by warships. So I don't know, indicator, pattern of behavior, maybe something to pay attention to, because again, what happens when the Yemeni Houthi rebels decide we're going to shoot that Maersk oil tanker or Connex box carrier and instead shoot a U.S. destroyer? Then what happens? And the answer probably for us is seeing as how the current administration literally doesn't have testicles. Unless you're in Senate chambers, engaged in anal rape of a fellow staffer, which is perfectly fine. We got 46,000 hours of footage from January 6th, but there's no video of one dude banging another dude in the ass in the Senate chambers. Yeah, somehow that one magically disappeared. Okay, got it. Also, if you're one of those people that lets your children watch this show, I don't recommend, especially today. Probably not a good idea. I told you, sir.
There's an interesting dichotomy that you just brought up. I'm not sure. I like listening to words, actual words that people are using and pushing across in media.
What are you, an analyst or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
So our Secretary of Defense said that we're waiting for collective action, right? Something like that.
Yep.
But there's a company out of Scandinavia that's using words like coalition. So our governments are trying to push forward words of like social change and politicalness, but the companies are using words of war. Interesting, like
just, the messaging versus perception versus reality.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Good job. Also, just a little reminder, because it hasn't really been brought up in, I don't know, the last 30 days in the news cycle, so people have probably already forgotten. This continent of Africa that these ships are now going around, not exactly a peaceful region.
What?
No, there's, at last check, 27 different national militaries on the continent of Africa. External national militaries, not African militaries. 27 external national militaries on the continent of Africa. Some of the largest of which include the United States, China, and Russia. So, which is fine because we all get along. Everything's great. But then there's this entire region of northwestern Africa called the Sahel region that's had like 30-something military coups in the last half a year. Stability. Yes, stability. And also another thing, the Somali pirates, I don't know, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, I don't know if you guys know this, Somalia is in Africa. And literally, Tun Tavern, the Marine Corps, was like, we got to go jack up some Somali pirates 250 years ago. So if we're talking about patterns of behavior, it's not a new thing for certain groups within Africa to decide, we want that ship, we want that cargo, we're just going to go take it. So I guess on the cost benefit analysis, on the risk assessment, Africa is currently less risky than the Gulf of Aden and the Red Sea, I wouldn't look for that to hold, because it's not exactly a threatless battle space in around Africa. Okay. Somebody said Maersk is Moroccan. There's no way Maersk is. No, they're Danish, I think, aren't they? Google it. When we say analyst, we just mean he's really good at Googling stuff. That's what we mean.
It's It's Danish.
Danish. That's what I said. Danish. Thank you.
I love Danish.
Now, do they have ships that are flagged in countries all across the world?
Absolutely.
For sure, because that's how that shit works. All right. After the announcement of the joint patrols, the Houthi official Mohammed Abdul Salam said, quote, "Our position will not change in the direction of the Palestinian issue, whether a naval alliance is established or not. Our position in support of Palestine and the Gaza Strip will remain until the end of the siege. The entry of food and medicine and our support for the oppressed Palestinian people will remain continuous," end quote. Reuters described the Houthis as currently, quote, "playing an escalating role," end quote. While Iran has denied any involvement, the U.S. holds the belief that the country's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is actually aiding the group by helping with both the planning and execution of missile and drone attacks. The Houthis' slogan is, and this is a good slogan, somebody should get with their marketing department because these guys know what they're doing. The Houthis' slogan is, quote, "Death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews, and victory to Islam."
I'm sure they love Christ.
There's
To the point.
Yeah,
no question.
there's a lot of commas in that, but it's a one-liner. It wraps it right up. Like they
pay thousands to get those.
I'm saying, dude, like I wonder what their website framework looks like. You know,
Big middle finger.
somewhere in the Houthi administrative building, there's a wall full of whiteboards where they're like, "All right, guys, we need to boil this down. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna play the branding game. We're gonna throw all these things up on the whiteboard, and we're just gonna cross off anything that doesn't really just hit the nail on the head."
Messaging we're going.
Yeah,
Capture
a
hearts
bunch of
and minds.
Houthi nerds with pocket protectors. They're like, "Okay, guys, here's what we came up
We
with.
gotta have death to Israel.
Death to America. Yep, death. Everybody agrees. Death. Okay, check. Death. Death to Israel. Okay, yep. Okay, everybody got that. Curse the Jews. Yes, 100%. We're on board with that.
Not repetitive.
And victory.
All three go on camera.
You know what?
They have
Actually-
no idea who you're talking to.
They get it. This is not the first time they've seen this shit show.
But it's our shit.
It is. If you guys want to put your chairs over here near the microphone, you're allowed to do that. That's fine. But the thing is, like, I think we should make some like YouTube short content of like us dressed up as terrorists around the whiteboard trying to come up with
that would get us banned.
the
because
Houthi
free
rebels.
Palestine.
Yeah, as long as we put free Palestine in there, it's fine. It won't get pulled.
Dude, I saw a video yesterday. It was literally a Palestinian dude shooting an RPG into a building with civilians, and the comments was like, "Free Palestine. This is what you get." I'm like, "What the? Are you retarded?" Like,
Palestine from Hamas.
Did the RPG blow up in his face when he shot it?
no, it's
And-
probably a name brand.
Ballistic high speed.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched that video yesterday.
And do you have a first aid kit? I'm just saying, if you brought an RPG to your range, but you didn't bring a first aid kit, you might be retarded. Yeah. So the Houthi slogan is "Death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews, and victory to Islam." So, words have power, but not if you're a godless heathen. So best of luck with that one. We were actually just talking about curses earlier off camera. And the thing to know with curses is that shit doesn't matter if you don't receive it. They're like, there's something to that, like, I'm rubber, you're glue, what bounces off me sticks to you thing from childhood. It's like,
Damn it, they were right.
yeah, be rubber, bro. It's like, that's cute.
Be water, my friends.
be water. Dylan Carson wants to know if the RPG kit is out yet. Yes, it's a bucket full of burn tech dressings.
It's a whole lot of occlusive dressings.
We actually have a burn kit.
Yeah,
we have it. Bob will put it in the chat because he's chief operating officer.
I will as soon as I find it.
You know, listen, if you made it 15 minutes into this brief and you're not subscribed, good on you. If you'd like to be subjected to this type of ridiculous torture on a daily basis, subscribe, ring the little bell icon, do all that stuff. And those of y'all that are already subscribed, you know what to do. Share the show with somebody you love. I don't think based upon the throttling that we're going to make it to 200,000 before the end of the year, because that's like 5,000 more people in the next 10 days. And I've noticed a really interesting thing with YouTube here lately. It doesn't matter what I do. I can't get more than 20,000 views. Not more than 20. It doesn't matter. And check this out. One of my Bible videos got pulled down for violating YouTube community standards.
There it is.
I'm like, that's cool. That's all right. Yeah. So also, link in the description for Patreon, just alternate platform. Also, alternate YouTube channel is the Blue Collar President. So if you're not subscribed to the Blue Collar President, that's also me. We use that as an alternate YouTube channel for when like YouTube gives me community strikes. I go over there and I do stuff over there while waving middle fingers at the algorithm. So should be getting my updated HSA card tomorrow. How long is the end of the year sale going? Until the end of the year.
That makes sense.
Until the end of the year. 1 Jan 24, it will no longer exist.
We have a marketing team similar to Hamas.
Straight to the point.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Of course, the show is brought to you by the creator of the universe, Yahoo, your Elohim, the fine people over at Patreon. And Refuge Medical. It's a tiny little business that I'll probably talk to you about later. This is interesting. The 14th Amendment. You guys see what's been happening in Colorado? Yep. And so it begins.
Our turn. We start taking Joe Biden off the ballot in every other state.
So, honest question, I don't know the answer to. Okay, so he's not on the ballot. Trump's not on the ballot. Can you write him in?
You cannot, because he's not on the ballot, because he was disqualified from being on it. So the write-ins will not count.
So here's the argument for that, though. If he's disqualified based upon the 14th Amendment and supporting an insurrection, why is it that at the federal level he was not charged with supporting an insurrection?
Well, he could have even been charged with it. He was never convicted of it.
Right. So he was never convicted of it. So does that make grounds for the federal government, not that they would, to tell Colorado state government you're full of shit? Yeah. So you have to put them on the ballot.
Yeah, there's like talk about the Supreme Court actually just like this is going to go up, obviously. I'm worried less about the actuals of like he's going to be on the ballot. Yep. There's no way this is going to stand, but this is kicking off so much more social.
Yep.
That like that's the piece that you need to watch, the social piece of it and how people spin that.
I think it was the executive of NBC, the president of NBC in like 2016. I was listening to a podcast this morning. They were talking about it. Said something to the effect of Trump, love him or hate him, he's great for ratings.
Yeah.
Right. And it got like, we know this. Yep. Everybody in this room lived through 4 years of Trump. Right. But of course the propaganda machine is spinning up. If you were the mass media or legacy media or mainstream media, pick your term. Of course you want Trump back in the limelight because it helps your relevance, which is shrinking by the day, which then got me thinking about social media and micro influencers, right? Because it used to be if you wanted to get your message out, you went on the Tonight Show. Nobody watches that shit anymore, nor should they. So it makes me wonder now, and we know, like, for example, Meta was clearly influenced by the FBI, right? What? Push this agenda, don't push that agenda. Still, to this day, this platform, YouTube/Google, clearly influenced by the World Health Organization and National Institutes for Health.
And our executive branch.
And the executive branch. Okay. So That's why certain narratives are being amplified and certain narratives are being squashed. The information battle space is going to get interesting, I think, more interesting in the next 12 months leading up to the election. I mean, you can, but you'll get demonetized. If you talk about Trump too long, you talk about COVID-19 too long on YouTube, they'll demonetize you. And a lot of people, and it makes sense, most people aren't content creators, so they don't understand what that means. When something gets demonetized, it's not that I give a shit about the 4 cents that YouTube is going to get me for talking at the camera. I don't. It's how the algorithm works. The algorithm doesn't touch demonetized content. And the algorithm runs in 7-day periods, and it takes 10 days in order to appeal a demonetization decision. So essentially what's happening is a shadow ban when something is demonetized, because that means now algorithmically that content will not be promoted because it's not monetized, and it takes 10 days to appeal that decision while the algorithm moves in 7-day cycles. So even if you win your appeal and your monetization is restored, by that point the algorithm has moved on. And so it's a back-end metric, a back-end mechanism that YouTube uses to suppress certain narratives on their platform, while saying that you're just under review. The language that they use on the YouTube content creator, what they call the studio, is you're under review. We don't know if you've done anything wrong. It's okay. Our team's investigating it. We'll get back to you. And it's very non-confrontational language. When the fact of the matter is, what they're doing is they have their bots, they have their AI that just scoops up all this information that comes out of people's mouths. And if there's a single trigger word, keyword said during any time during that broadcast, it immediately goes into review, which means it's now demonetized. The algorithm doesn't touch it. And by the time they decide that you were allowed to make the sounds with your mouth that you made, the algorithm has already moved on. So from the Blaze Media, there's a bunch of people here apparently.
That's weird.
I mean, yeah, I guess it is. Like 1,458 people. From the Blaze Media, every American should be troubled. RFK Jr. comments on Colorado Supreme Court's move to block Trump from primary ballot. Written by Alex Nitzberg yesterday, 19 December 23. Democratic turned independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that all Americans should feel troubled by the Colorado Supreme Court's decision that former President Donald Trump should be blocked from appearing on the presidential primary ballot in every state. Quote, every American should be troubled by the Colorado Supreme Court's decision to remove President Trump from the ballot, end quote, Kennedy tweeted. Do you tweet? Do you still tweet even though it's X now?
Yeah, is that,
or do you X? I've never been on this platform.
Yeah.
I downloaded it for a day, honestly.
Dudley's on the X.
Dudley would know. He's in the chat. Dudley, is it still tweeting or do you X now? Did you X? I X'd.
I X'd it.
What? How do you conjugate that verb?
I don't. It's not a verb. It's a letter. That's the struggle here. Is nothing is real anymore. Oh my gosh! Can you imagine like an NLV or NIV here in 10 years? And Jesus was bussing for real.
No cap.
No cap. And he said, for show.
It's going to be terrible.
Oh my gosh. I X'd on Twitter. That's what Dudley said.
I X'd on Twitter. No way.
Ask you a question.
Okay. Kennedy tweeted, the court has deprived him of a consequential right without having been convicted of a crime. This was done without an evidentiary hearing in which he is given the basic right of confronting his accusers, end quote. He wrote, quote, it's time to trust the voters. It is up to the people to decide who the best candidate is, not the courts, the people. That's democracy 101, he noted.
It's time now.
Now it's time to trust the voters. I was thinking about this on the drive in this morning into the bunker, 42 foot below the ground.
Yep.
Yes. Ever since we put that blast door in, the drive is way better. We have a long ramp that just runs in. The biggest challenge that we had was because the bunker's so far below ground with the blast doors is the water.
Yeah, the signal.
Well, the signal's tough, but we just hard piped it in.
Yep.
Shielded Cat 6, no biggie.
Fiber. You can't transmit it. EMP proof fiber.
Try to
Yeah,
hack us now, nerds.
I was actually different rabbit hole. I was talking to a guy the other day about how difficult it is to hack a fiber line and keep it in service so that there's no disruption in service while you're tapping a fiber line. And they were like, what? And I was like, it can be done.
It is completely possible.
It can be done.
It is
very difficult.
It is very difficult.
And so if you find somebody,
it's not, yes, it is hard.
It can, has, and will be done.
it's yeah. It's not hard for Storms because he's like an epic level nerd.
Yeah.
He's like the Gandalf of
Storms, you
nerdery.
walk around with biscuit cans on your ears all day long. You're not allowed on TikTok. Like, governmentally, stop. You don't count. So it's not hard at all to hack the space station. What? He goes,
You haven't?
Nerds.
Anyway, the water intrusion at 42 foot below grade is really difficult, especially when you make a ramp of earth down to the blast doors. And so the biggest issue that we had was making sure that we had sufficient water removal through a pair of EMP-proof 8-inch electric hydraulic water pumps, and then basically a French drain around the bunker that had to be installed to pull all the water out and evacuate it. And the cool thing is we can, triple reverse osmosis that thing.
Yeah, I just siphon off in the Berkey.
Yeah, put that into the cistern. Then but it was very challenging. So on the ride in this morning, different rabbit hole. Who cares what the hell I was thinking? Because I actually forgot anyway. The voters.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how does one become an activist? And then, so that got me thinking, right? These people have free time. Why do they have free time? Because somebody has bought their time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so part of that is these governmental programs of like, oh, you have a pulse, here's money, here's healthcare. You have a right to healthcare. You don't have a right to shit. You don't even have a right to the air that's in your lungs. That's a gift from the creator. Like, oh, because you're that good of a person, you deserve insert thing here. Got it. You're self-focused. We're tracking. Nobody deserves shit, but somebody bought their time so that they could go be an activist, right? So they're funded from somewhere. And then I started thinking about, here we go, goodbye channel, the Revolutionary War.
Uh-oh.
And there's especially right now, because Bob, you were talking about the dirty civilian movement yesterday. And I think that's super interesting because everybody's worried about Hamas sleeper cells. Wait till the normies go active. Like the normal flag waving, beer drinking, John Deere driving, pickup truck, country music. Wait till the dirty civilians go active. And if you don't think the FBI doesn't have a database the size of this room full of normies, yeah, you're full of it.
Guys, there are rednecks who literally make it their duty to kill stuff under thermals at least once a week.
Yeah, for fun.
For fun.
For fun.
And they got to teach their 6-year-old to do it.
For
'cause it's
funsies.
time.
Yep.
It's just time that he knows.
It's just time.
It's just time.
Yeah, little Jethro needs some nods. It's like,
Go get Post-it notes.
okay, y'all have fun. Be safe out there. You're going to take the elevator or the stairs? Take the stairs. It's good for you. Get your steps in.
Get your 638 steps.
But during the Revolutionary War, there's a lot of people who like to focus on the need for the military and military veterans, ground force operations, things like that. Taking nothing away from that, 100%. Who bought their muskets? Who bought their powder? Who bought their ball? Who bought their wool blankets? Who fed them? Who produced the hardtack? All of that. It was the merchant class. And so then again, asymmetrically, why the war on the merchant class? If I was expecting there to be, I don't know, a revolution, predictively programming that through, Leave the World Behind and the new Civil War movie that's coming out and all of that, I should probably, if I was the big bay, make sure that the merchant class was as unproductive as possible. Maybe I could do that in 2019 by giving the whole world the flu and then basically doing a huge transfer of wealth from small business that traditionally represents 60 to 70% of the country's GDP to a handful of large businesses, all of whom are in lockstep with me, being the leader of the big they, that I'm coercing through ESG, right? And what do they call it now? DEI and all that shit. Just a thought. And so to everybody out there who's in the merchant class, myself being one of those people, you might start thinking about what do I need to be doing? How many times do I have to say on this show 12 to 15 men? 12 to 15 trained men. What does that look like? That's for you to figure out. There's enough information out there. There's enough people who know out there. 12 to 15 men. And it's not boys and gerbils. It's not just rifles and magazines and ammo. You know, I actually know what sizes all of my guys wear because they need pants, they need tops, they need socks, they need boots. This time of year, they need fleece toboggan caps so that their little heads don't get cold. And gloves. Gloves is huge, right? And they need gloves, and then rucksacks, and then sustainment kit and sleep gear and blah, 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 and nav. I have a freaking compass in my pocket, in my jacket, in the bunker. I know where I am. There's a Silva Ranger in my pocket.
Nice.
Right? So, because Bear's just trying to out EDC you on the internet. But
do you have paracord, bro?
Dad smoked us yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys don't carry 50 foot of twine or paracord at all times?
You have no cordage. Anyway, so all that to say, why did we dive into that rabbit hole? Because Trump may or may not be on the ballot for 2024. And what happens if he's not? Civil unrest much, people? Which gets back to your area of operations. Let's do a shameless plug. In the store right now is we have a Refuge class coming up the 5th and 6th of May. Let me see if I can find the link. And in the morning, you're going to put it in? Bob's going to put the link in. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's just teamwork makes the dream work. In the morning, about the first 6 hours of the day, we're doing an amalgamation, a mashup of Responder 1 and Responder 2. So March E, algorithm, and then scenario-based training as individuals and as teams. And then, what's up, Magic Prepper? Hey, Magic, text me. Get your ass to class, May 5th and 6th. Okay, Bear. All right, cool. Good talk.
See all that gun work you've been doing on
shit.
Let's put it to the test, son. Force on force.
1.59 second draw time, clean reload, but snag my t-shirt on the reholster.
You'll have that.
I might be paying attention to your Instagram. But May 5th and 6th in the morning, first 6 hours of the day, we're doing Responder 1, Responder 2. In the afternoon, we are doing the first ever Prepper Classroom live with myself and some special guests. And we're going to do a 4-hour block of instruction on the Prepper Classroom. And part of what's going to be in there is your AO, your area of operations, and how to begin to understand how to analyze your area of operations. Okay? So Bob just put that link in the store. There's 25 seats day 1, the 5th of May. There's 25 seats day 2, the 6th of May. Don't be an ass. Come to class.
And just so y'all know, we specifically dropped the price of the class to make it more obtainable for y'all, because a lot of people are like, I can't afford the class right now and the travel. And so we figured it'd be better if people knew how to not die and prepare than if we made some money, yo. So hurry up. There's not that many slots.
Yep. And
hurry up.
Per the market, we could have easily charged double what we're charging. We're not doing that. That's there's a benefit to not having a full-time dedicated training staff, which then creates salaries and OpEx that have to be supported all the time. And so we get to train when we want to now, not because we have to now. So
Upward State said Refuge medical training resume. I think you meant resume. And if you did, just email me. I'll talk to you about credentials. We're not going to teach you anything we don't know. How about that? Good deal? Good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, and if you meant, is it resuming? Yes. The 5th and 6th of May, 2024. Okay. DIY and review guy. What's going on? Last article I wanted to look at today. So the whole point of the RFK thing was, Trump's off the ballot currently in Colorado. And that's kind of a canary in the coal mine for a handful of other 6 or so air quote battleground states, all of which are dominated by Democrats. So we'll see what happens. And then from RT, Russia Today, Pentagon concerned with the cost of repelling the Houthi attacks, according to Politico. The U.S. has launched Operation Prosperity Guardian, attempting to curb Yemeni rebels assaults on ships in the Red Sea. First of all, who picked this op name? Prosperity Guardian?
Gotta keep the economy rolling. Prosperity, brother.
I would call it Operation Bleeding Turbans. That's what I would call it. Just so we're all on the same page. Hey, what's the deal, boss? What are we doing? Hey, what's the op called? Okay.
Just
Cool.
so we're all on the same
Just-
page.
The op name is Prime Directive. Got
Oh,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Refer to op name. What's the commander's intent? Refer to op name. All right. Pentagon officials are worried about the growing cost of the U.S. of countering Yemeni Houthi drone and missile attacks. I'm going to sneeze. In the Red Sea, Politico reported on Wednesday. The report comes after several major freight companies suspended travel through the route, citing concerns over the safety of their vessels. The U.S. Navy has shot down 38 drones and several missiles over the Red Sea in the past 2 months, according to the U.S. Department of Defense. Now, this is asymmetric warfare, and this is important to understand because the cost of one of those drones as compared to the cost of one of those missiles to intercept those drones, it's a huge disparity between costs. I'm also willing to bet that the United States has a huge disparity in GDP versus Yemen. But, there's this meme that's been going around on the interwebs, and I agree with it. If they, the big they, have enough money to fight 2 wars at the same time, they're taxing you too much. And I'm all on board with that. Now, don't get me wrong. I like national defense. Like I just said, I would name this Operation Bleeding Turbans. That's what I would name it. But get in there, get the job done, get back out again. All this nation building crap was special interest, Halliburton and ExxonMobil and government contracts to win hearts and minds after we killed everybody. Maybe. Again, this is why you need a Secretary of War. FAFO. You launch a single drone against a U.S. flagged vessel, your country will cease to exist. FA.
Good job, Badger.
FO. Badger get somebody?
Yeah, he got him before I was. Dude was being all the way a racist
Oh, good job.
against our brother.
Houthi militants have stepped up attacks on shipping in the region amid the escalating Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza. With the death toll of the Palestinians reportedly nearing 20,000, armed groups have vowed to continue their assaults until the Israel aggression against their steadfast brothers in the Gaza Strip stops. Blah, blah, blah. Dooba-dooba-dooba-doo. The most likely method to be used in parrying Houthi strikes is expected to be the Standard Missile-2 with a range of 92 to 130 nautical miles and costing $2.1 million each to shoot down a drone. The other available tools for the job, the evolved Sea Sparrow missiles or airburst rounds, are likely to have too limited of a range, said Politico's sources. Quote, my guess is the destroyers are shooting SM-2s for as long as they can. They are not in the business of taking chances on hostile targets getting close. The experts estimate that the suicide drones deployed by the Houthis cost $2,000 at most. So that's 1,000 to 1 cost disparity. The U.S. Navy doesn't seem to have a cheaper option than what it's using now, said Samuel Bendet, an advisor with the Center for Naval Analysis, adding that driving down the cost of such defenses is essential in the long term. Israel unleashed, I think they call it the Iron Sword, a laser-based air defense system that they've been working on that allegedly wasn't supposed to be ready to go yet.
Freaking laser beams.
It's a freaking laser beam, dude. And it appears to be working. So we shall see. Now, the Houthis, Yemen, they're backed by who? Iran, who also backs who? Hezbollah, who also backs who? Hamas. Iran backed by who? Russia. Again, not that there isn't and hasn't been contention in the Middle East, but if I was the Russians, this would be a great time to kick all this shit off because it keeps the United States involved in a second theater. They're fighting a two-front war now. And as we've seen, not exactly going great for the Ukrainians right now as far as their military prowess on the battlefield. And Russia's special military operation seems to be working. Although Russia has said that in recent press releases, they expect the war, the special military operation, could take an additional 6 or 7 years to take all of Ukraine. And will it? I don't know. I think the reason that was said was to exacerbate the war fatigue that people are already feeling over Ukraine. It's my opinion.
We said breathing fire from the Temple Mount might mean lasers. Plot twist.
It might, or it might mean fire.
Yep.
It might mean fire. I'm going to pee. While I pee, Bob's going to tell you about RefugeMedical.com.
What's up,
So,
all you cats and kittens?
Kermode Bear sent me a message on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think we are gonna get some cheap Chinese tourniquets.
Yeah.
And we're gonna sell them as a package deal. The cheap Chinese tourniquet also comes with a $100 108 flowers or 1-800-flowers gift card. It comes with a book of common prayer, so you know how to pray at the funeral.
Yep.
And it comes with an urn, so you can put the ashes of your loved one in it.
Nice.
$279.
Easy peasy.
$10 tourniquet, and everything you need after the $10 tourniquet.
Right. You save that money.
You save that money, right? So we'll just package deal it.
Same price as a bear pack.
For us to sell them any other way.
That's true. That is 100% true. You need this package. We're gonna call it the China kit.
Not for China now.
Yeah, and we'll put it inside of like a 40 denier nylon bag.
With an RFK.
That's just like been stitched
make
together.
Sure, we'll make sure to
by a
burn
toddler.
some plastic and put it in the packaging, so it smells like Guangdong.
Oh, what's up, all you boys and girls? I'm going to talk to you about Refuge Medical. So right now we've got the end of the year blowout sale, man. And the reason we're doing this sale is not because we want to discount our stuff, but rather because we have a bunch of stuff that we don't want to necessarily have for inventory at the end of the year, so we don't get taxed on it again, because that is lame. So with that, crash kits, smash kits, OSHA compliance kits, dude, we got a few left. I definitely recommend it. People were asking me the other day what the best vehicle kit is. It is 100% the crash kit with crash vac. Just given the fact that, like, not only could you render aid to yourself with that crash vac on the headrest, but you also could respond to an accident and have a fully comprehensive first aid kit. Also, if you got stranded in your vehicle, there's capability in the kit to take care of you. And it's just a really good kit. We designed it around Baja racers that were flying at like 120 miles per hour through the desert. So I think it'll work on the commute to work. TJ already mentioned the training. Guys, I cannot stress to you enough. I stretched it to 30 slots per training. That's 60 people. All right. You shared it on Patreon yesterday?
Yep.
How many people are on your Patreon? 2,000?
Yep.
Yeah. So few thousand. There's 1,500 people, 1,600 people here right now. There's 60 slots in training. I recommend that you take a pause for the cause right now and go get your slot, because it will most likely be sold out before I'd start my live stream at the Refuge side here in a few hours. And Badger is sharing it in the chat right now. Dudley has it exactly right. Get in where you fit in. If you guys actually want to train your skills, right? It's one thing to have stuff, right? Stuff is cool, but if you don't know how to use stuff, you're fooling and lying to yourself, right? I don't know why you're kidding yourself, but you have to get reps and sets in. And sometimes it really helps to go and learn from people who have been doing this stuff. And so we're going to offer the opportunity to do some TAC med. We're also going to offer the opportunity to do some scenario-based training, some force-on-force elements, because, you know, everybody wants to be Mr. Cool Guy until you realize getting shot sucks a lot, like a lot, right? So it gives you new perspective and it helps you shatter that paradigm. And then you get to literally learn about preparedness from one of the best preppers on the freaking internet. Like this is the first time we're ever doing this. It's the Bear Independent channel. This is a Bear Independent class. You guys got to get on this. I don't know why you're not already buying it out. Moose Run Coffee says, sounds awesome. Yeah, it is awesome.
First ever prepper classroom live.
Yeah, first ever, right? I have Refuge medical tourniquets and a few other supplies, excellent products and fast service. Yeah, we really pride ourselves on our customer service and on the fact that we are human beings that care about you. We are not much for China now time. Yesterday at like 10 o'clock, I found this stupid first aid kit company that in this ad, Meditech kits.
Oh my God.
Everybody should go there and just get a good laugh. Just troll them. In one of their ads, the lady says, here's a chest seal to help prevent tension. And I'm like, what? What does that even mean? And so I commented, I'm like, by tension, did you mean pneumothorax? And by pneumothorax, did you mean a tension pneumothorax, which a chest seal can cause, not prevent? What is happening? And so this is another great example of Chinese companies coming in to teach you, to not teach you, to misinform you and give you a false sense of security. Here at Refuge, we invest countless hours and now hundreds of thousands of dollars to teach you guys. We put up playlist after video, after blog, after feed of information for free for you because we want you to not die. That's it. Here's a fun fact. We make about -$dollars on YouTube. It costs me on average around $300. That's like a low produced video on YouTube is what it costs. And I make like $12. So, I'm only up -$288. So, you do the math. But with that, we have seen people write in time and time again. They said, hey, I watched this video. Hey, I was on this live stream. I learned this. And then I used it. There was a car accident. My grandma fell down the stairs. My kid fell and sliced their arm open. Even to law enforcement officers. Hey, I was in a shootout. Hey, I was in this place that didn't exist with these people that were never there. And this thing that never happened occurred. Right. And so we're testing our gear and we're constantly innovating inside of this space because it's adapt or die, guys. It turns out the TACMED is not the same as it was 60 years ago, if you could believe me. I don't know. The cravat isn't the same. It's just not cutting it anymore. So pay attention to industry professionals that actually give a shit about you and are learning day in, day out. I was literally like just studying the industry last night till freaking 11:30 to make sure I had good info for y'all.
This was...
No, dude, that's a sweet product.
Right. But this in white was the thing that medics had. If you were a medic in World War II and then into the Korean War, you had cravats, you had bandages, and you had cornstarch.
And don't forget sticks.
And you had sticks.
The classic stick.
This is what you had. Now, this will work. I can do a lot of cool things with this if I know how to use this. It won't work if you don't. And for some reason, with trauma medicine, everybody plans to improvise, which is a plan to fail, instead of carrying real equipment on them. And so you're right. It has come a long way, dude. If a medic showed up on the battlefield, today's medic showed up on the battlefield World War II,
dude,
they wouldn't even know.
They wouldn't, it would literally they would think it was an angel.
Yeah. 100%.
They'd be like, how do you keep saving these people? And it's like a Cat Gen 7.
Please tell me you're not fear.
Well, and do you want, so M1 Garand, good gun, right? 30-06, 8-round clip, right?
Yep.
Actual clip, not a magazine, actual clip. Good gun. You want to go into a battle today with an M1 Garand? No, I'd rather not. Right?
No.
Web gear, all that stuff. Could you? Yeah, you could. Would it work? Sure, it would work. I think I'd rather have AR-15 and a bunch of 30-round magazines. So things change. I know. Things change.
You weird.
Sorry.
You modernist. A couple things in the chat I want to bring up, and I'll pass it back to the boss man. So with that, Texas Sheep Lady brings up something great. So the night of the 5th, we have training on the 5th and on the 6th. On the night of the 5th, which is I believe is a Sunday, we're going to have a big house party. And we're going to have some awesome people there. We'll have like some mini speakers and stuff. We'll have maybe a dance breakout party. There'll be badass food, all that good stuff. Maybe we'll spin a sheep over a fire. Who knows? We'll see if we can find anybody with sheep. It's hard around here.
Just have 3 more.
Oh my gosh, look at that. See, the Father provideth, right?
All food.
And so if you guys want to come hang out with the Refuge team, if you want to come hang out with the Bear Independent team, right? Go for the 5th, right? Or if you're going to go to class on the 6th because the 5th is sold out, just make sure you come a day early, right? Or come for the evening that thereof. You're still invited, right? If you're a Refuge Nation person, you're invited to it. And then I saw Mark, right? I think it was Mark. Buddy just picked up 5 slots for the class this morning. And that's going to be a thing. People are literally going to buy like 5 slots. So you have to go and get it now. Bring your own cardboard for breakdancing. No, we'll provide the cardboard. Don't worry. Yeah, we like that. Yeah, for breakdancing, for the break.
Oh, we got a whole stack of it, right?
Yeah, dude, we're up. We're so up. And Moose Run Coffee said, I'll supply the coffee for the hangout. So there you go. There you go. Mark Chase, I just signed up for the class in May. Yeah, guys, you got to go sign up now because you're fixing to run out of spots. And yes, someone was dry fired in the background because, of course, naturally.
Like you don't.
Are you not dry
You got to
fired
keep the
right
bunker protected, bro. Let's see. What else do we talk about today? Let's see. Refuge Ruckus, that's coming up. 65 of y'all badasses have already signed up to join us in Fort Smith, Arkansas to ruck through Fort Smith, Arkansas. The capacity of that venue is 400, so I would love it if the rest of y'all would get off your ass and go to refugeruckus.com and come hang out with us. It's an easy ruck, y'all. It's a 5K, right? And you can carry as many pounds or lbs or whatever you want. There are categories from 10 pounds up to 50 plus pounds. I'm carrying 50.5 pounds because the average weight of an average trafficked child is 101 pounds. So I'm carrying half and another brother is carrying half. And so it's guys, I've been told by 3 different doctors now, I should, hey, your beautiful wife is here with her arms crossed. You're probably in trouble. Oh, you are in trouble. Get out of here. Hi. Sorry. You're right. It's not my fault, but I'm still sorry. Love y'all. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, I'll be back. I got to talk to you about stuff.
Yeah, I'll be here. All right, cool. Anyway, so refugeruckus.com, grindstoneministries.com. If you need a Bible, come see us at grindstoneministries.com. Shoot us an email. We'll admin at Grindstone Ministries. Just tell me where to send you a Bible. If you can't afford one, I'll send you one. I don't need to know all the reasons why you can't afford one. I don't need the backstory. I don't need any of that. I just need to know where to send it to you. And then Caleb House, Caleb with a K, calebhouse.org. It is the end of the year, and apparently end of year giving accounts for upwards of 80% of funding for most 501c3s. That just irks me. The idea, and I'll be honest with you, the idea of coming to y'all with my hand out saying, please give me money, just can't. Like, either my God is God or he's not. Like, he's either in charge of everything or he's not, which is why I tell y'all, if the Spirit moves you, come see us at Caleb House. If it doesn't, no hard feelings. There are plenty of other organizations out there that need your help too. And my job, part of my job with Caleb House, is to get on here and talk to you all about it. Knowing that at some point, the sustainment plan for Caleb House is going to have to grow outside of my circle of influence here on the Bear Independent channel. And so, but I also know that's all in due time from the Father. His time, his plan, and I need to just be a good steward of what he puts in our hands now to use that to further the mission of rescuing and restoring kiddos. And so that's what we're doing at Caleb House. And if that's something that resonates with you, come see us. And if it's something that doesn't, or if you're already tapped, you're already supporting another ministry or whatever, that's fine too. There's no shame in that. You can pray for us. We'd really appreciate it. We do some really sketchy shit. We have a bunch of people that are in the process of restoration, and the victim services teams absolutely need prayer. The people who are in the restoration process absolutely need prayer. The administrators, the field teams who are out there making sure that bad shit happens to bad people, they absolutely need the covering of prayer. So again, if the Spirit moves you, lift us up. And if it doesn't, please don't. please don't. If the Spirit does not move you, don't even put my name in your mouth, please. Because I just don't want to be involved with any of that. And the other thing I would ask you with Caleb House is I only have so much reach. But y'all, there's way more y'all than me. If you could please tell other people about Caleb House and what we're doing, not what we're talking about, not we just made a movie that dropped about human trafficking, not what we're doing, I would really appreciate it. And in that, when you're on your socials, when you're out there interacting with people on Instagram and Facebook and all that, if you're a fan of the Sean Ryan show, tell Sean Ryan to check out Caleb House. If you're a fan of the Joe Rogan show, tell Joe Rogan to check out Caleb House. If you're a fan of Real AF, tell Andy Frizella to check out Caleb House. If you're a fan of Ed Milet, tell Ed Milet to check out Caleb House. There's a lot more of y'all than there are of me, and I feel like a freaking broken record sometimes, and I frankly, I hate it. If it was up to me, in a perfect world, then my will be done. If it was my will be done, I'd hit the Powerball, I'd have $1 billion, and I would do whatever I wanted to do as quietly as possible, and you'd never hear me say the words Caleb House again. That is not Yah's will, at least not at this time. So you and I get to have these conversations every day. And that's what I got for today. That's what I've got for today. Let's talk to the Father. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Father, Yah, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for allowing to wake up with air in our lungs. Thank you for convicting us to do your will to the best of our ability, and thank you for empowering us to be able to do that. Father, Yah, pour out your Spirit on all flesh. Please convict us to walk in your ways. Teach us by the example of your Son how to walk in your ways. Father, give us wisdom and discernment that we would know right from wrong, and we would execute on the things you need us to execute on, and that we would flee from the things you don't need us to execute on. Father, give us strength and power and authority in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to be your hands and feet. And be it your will, do all of that with an extra helping of peace, that we might be in the world, but that we're not of the world, and that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Put a hedge around us, because we're idiots and we don't know what the hell we're doing half the time. We need you. We need you so bad. Father, please continue to bless our little businesses and our little ministries and our little community and our little channel and our little hands and the work that comes forth from them, that whatever we would do would be glorifying to you, and that people would see us and see you through us, that we could serve as a conduit or a pipe for you and how awesome you are. Father, thank you for redeeming us by the blood of your Son, that we could come back into the house again and be part of the family again. Thank you for loving us from the foundation of the world, and that it's not an accident that we're here, fearfully and wonderfully made for this time. Thank you for creating us in your image, because you are a warrior and a loving Father, that many of us grew up without those examples. So thank you for being good to us, even though we don't deserve it. Father, anything that comes against us today that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Keep us filled up. Keep us backstopped. Give us left and right limits to execute righteously on your will. I lift all these people up and lay them at your feet and ask that you would protect them today, provide for them today, and bless them today. I ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Unit 717 says, I need the scriptures. GrindstoneMinistries.com. You can get them there at our cost. And if the wallet is non-permissive right now, just email us, admin@grindstoneministries.com, and we will send you one at no cost. And that goes for any of y'all listening. Any of y'all. We are blessed that we get to buy scriptures by the pallet now. And for those that don't know, maybe you're endeavoring to do a thing and it just is really scary and it doesn't make sense and you're not sure, you're looking for a little bit of confirmation. 3 years ago, the Father told me to buy a case of scriptures. So I priced a case of scriptures. It's $214.80. And I said, okay, Father, I don't have $214.80. I was praying. I said, but if you put it in my hand, I will do this. I prayed that prayer and I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning. I had a notification that somebody, one of y'all, I'll never know who, it was anonymous, PayPal'd me $215. And the note said, I don't know why I'm sending you this, but you do. And I hadn't mentioned to anybody, including my wife, I needed $215. And boom, there it was in my bank account the following morning. And so I bought a case of scriptures. I said, let this case of scriptures be a blessing. And since then, we've given away more than 6,000 copies.
How many loaves has that made?
Oh my God, right? I have no idea.
Like that's it. Like
I have no idea. And if we have to burn some money to buy another pallet of scriptures to give away, praise Yah. Whose money is it anyway? It's not mine. I just get to be a steward of it. And so if you're out there concerned, afraid that you're not going to get what you need, maybe this course of action that the Father has convicted you on to step off into, it's really scary and you don't see the provision. Son, you're not supposed to see the provision. It's not faith if you know what every step looks like and you know where this thing ends. It doesn't require trust for you to follow him if you know the end before the beginning. That's the Father allows me to see sometimes one step ahead. Why? So that I can navigate, so that I know where we're going next. And when I start getting close to that one step ahead, he starts showing me what the next step looks like. And the next step looks like. And it's really hard to put the Holy Spirit onto a spreadsheet. It's really hard to graph conviction or to put it into a Gantt chart. It's really hard.
The thing that follows through with that, something I heard recently, it's not submission if you agree.
Wow.
Damn.
It's not submission if you agree. That's a great word. So let this be of a little bit of encouragement to you. Just because the thing's scary and it doesn't make sense doesn't mean it's not from Yah. And take a page from Elijah. Sometimes a nap and a snack helps a lot. Sometimes you just gotta go sleep in a cave for a little bit. eat some bread. Like, all right, Yah, what next? And that whole conversation with Elijah and the Creator was like, I'm scared. And so Yah's like, here's a whirlwind. You scared of that? No, I'm still here. Here's a fire. You scared of that? No, I'm still here. Here's a storm. You scared of that? No, I'm still here. All right. So what's left? Fear me. Oh, got it. Like I am the fire. I am the storm. I am the whirlwind. These are nothing to me. But you, Elijah, are everything to me. And I need you to understand that so that you can go do what I made you for. So just because you don't know what the end looks like, just because you're scared, you're afraid, congratulations, you're in good company. But don't let that keep you from doing the thing. Go do the thing. I never wanted to start Caleb House. Caleb House was not my idea. It was Yah's idea. And he and I had a lot of conversation about this, mostly stemmed around, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah, but Yah does. And I know him. And I've got him. So I'll leave you with that today. Go get after it. Whatever that thing is that the Father has convicted you to do, go get after it. You see this bandied about in Christendom. If he be for us, who can be against us? Live that, because his word will not return to him void. He doesn't say shit just to say it. He's not like men. His ways are not our ways. His ways are higher than our ways. He doesn't run his mouth. It's kind of a big deal when he speaks. I don't know if you've read the Bible, but it's kind of a big deal when the Creator speaks. And therefore, if he speaks, if he's told you what to do it. And do not fear those who can kill the body, but fear him who can destroy the soul. You answer only to Yahweh your Elohim. Everything else is just make-believe. I hope you all have an awesome day. I'm out. See you when I see you. Shalom.